Thank you for joining me. My name is Marc Fitapelli. I'm a New York City-based attorney, and I'm here today to talk with cryptocurrency investors about the ways you might be able to recover cryptocurrency that was stolen, hacked, or taken from you through some other malicious means. Before I get into those things and those steps, I just want to put up a quick slide to discuss some disclaimers. What I want you to understand from this slide is that this is attorney advertising, and that if this problem happens to you, my advice to you is you should seek out an attorney who could give you advice, and you shouldn't try to get your advice by reading articles or watching videos on the internet, no matter who the source of that information is, including myself. So with that being said, I just want to go over a few key areas and a few key ways investors can recover hacked or stolen cryptocurrency. Before I get into the first way, and this first way is something called John Doe Lawsuits, I just want to dispel one big myth about cryptocurrency. And this is a myth that's shared by attorneys, it's shared less and less by members of law enforcement, because I think above all else, members of law enforcement understand this better than anyone else. But the myth is that transactions that are done in Bitcoin or in Ethereum or in cryptocurrency aren't traceable. It's a myth because, in fact, these transactions are traceable, and as an attorney, I'm able to trace them much quicker than I would be able to trace, let's say, a bank transaction. And I'll explain to you what I mean by that. If I have a client who calls and has money stolen from them through banking activity, right? Money goes from one bank account from your bank account to a bad guy's bank account. What you do is you sue the bad guy, you subpoena the bank, and eventually you'll get records back from the bank. And what you'll discover is that the bad guy immediately transferred the money out of that bank. So what do? You issue another subpoena, you wait 30 more days, and you could see how this is a cat and mouse game that can go on forever, right? What happens on the blockchain, though, is that it's instantaneous, right? So the whole purpose of having a blockchain is that it's a public ledger, right? That's the fundamental notion of cryptocurrency, is that this is all public, this information, and it's all out there. And well, if you're watching this and if you're invested in cryptocurrency, you'll say, well, great, yes, I know my money was stolen and it's in this wallet. And what does this mean? It doesn't mean anything. Yes, it's in this wallet, and no, it does mean something. There are services right now where you can go and you could trace a wallet transaction and you will know where that wallet's custodied. And that's incredibly valuable information, because just knowing that your money's in a wallet, you're right, it means nothing. But knowing who custodies it makes a world of difference. If your money's in cold storage somewhere, you may never see it again. But if your money is sitting in a Coinbase account subject maybe to US jurisdiction, you might see that money again. Or you might have grounds to contact a company like Coinbase and sue them for opening an account for a customer that may be a known bad actor. And so with that first myth dispelled, I'm going to talk with you about John Doe lawsuits. And so John Doe lawsuits are lawsuits filed by victims against the unknown person who victimized them, right? So it would be, if you're a victim, you versus the unknown John Doe who stole your cryptocurrency. And those lawsuits are used mainly to get discovery. It's very rare that you'll actually get the wrongdoer and get the cryptocurrency turned over to you. What you hope to do with the John Doe lawsuit is to get information about where your money went, right? Were there any US-based financial intermediaries that allowed your money to pass through it, and could we build a case against them? And that's what we do with those John Doe lawsuits. And that's a really good segue into the next area, or the next type of lawsuit you can bring. And it's a lawsuit against the exchange. And before I talk about how that lawsuit works, I have to dispel another myth. And this is a myth about laws that the exchanges are subject to. Many people think that this is the Wild West and crypto exchanges aren't subject to any laws and that everything is completely anonymous. It's completely not true. It couldn't be further from the truth. When any US-based person opens up an account with a US-based crypto exchange, the exchange has to gather know your customer information, and they have to comply with something called the Secrecy Act and the US Patriot Act. And in short, what the exchange has to do is they have to do due diligence on the customer to make sure that the customer is not some bad guy, not some known bad actor that's going to steal money. And so that's one of the ways that customers can sue exchanges. They can sue exchanges if they find out that the exchange was negligent in allowing known bad actors to get on their platform and open up accounts, right? So that's one of the ways. Another way is when you opened up your crypto account with the exchange, were you told that the exchange had insurance? Did the exchange also tell you that they store crypto in cold storage offsite? Well, guess what? A lot of people find out that those things aren't exactly true when their cryptocurrency is stolen and they call the exchange and want to cash in on an insurance policy. So one of the other ways you can sue a crypto exchange is consumer fraud. It's for making materially false representations about what they do for you, about maintaining insurance for hacks, right? About keeping cryptocurrency in cold storage. Okay? The third way you could recover against the crypto exchange is directly for their negligence. Was your money stolen as a result of their employees' negligence, number one, or number two, was their employee actively in on it? And what often happens is your information may be leaked as part of a data breach. So the exchange may be an innocent actor and your information may have been leaked because they were simply negligent and they didn't maintain adequate cybersecurity controls, right? That happens in some situations. Other situations, it's a little bit more nefarious. You know, there have been cases where groups of employees within an exchange have been involved in very sophisticated crimes, right? Have been involved in stealing money. So those two ways are ways you can sue the exchange. The last area I'm going to talk about is inadequate cybersecurity controls, and we already sort of touched on that a little bit. You can potentially sue your exchange for having inadequate cybersecurity controls, and what it often boils down to is money is stolen far more frequently from cryptocurrency exchanges than it is at normal banking institutions. And there may be a very good reason for it, and part of the reason is that the cryptocurrency exchanges really don't do the same level of cybersecurity compliance that banks do. And so you could potentially bring a claim for them for having those inadequate or those negligent policies in place. The third area or the third party you can sue may sound a little bit strange to some people, but you can sue your cell phone provider. And you might ask, well, how can I sue my cell phone provider for stolen cryptocurrency? Well, because of a SIM swap. Now I'll explain to you what a SIM swap is. A SIM swap is what it sounds like. It's when a hacker convinces your cell phone company that they're you. They get your SIM card, they take over your cell phone, they change all your passwords, they change your email password, and they steal your cryptocurrency. And if you find yourself in that situation, it's called SIM swapping, SIM hijacking, you could potentially sue your mobile carrier. And you could also, if you're in that situation, also sue your exchange. Don't think that you only need to sue one party, right? You could sue both your mobile carrier and the exchange. The last party or the last group that I'm going to talk about suing are financial advisors. And this goes along the same lines as your cell phone provider, and I put them in a category of people called third-party defendants, right? So someone who may not have been directly involved in the theft, right? The financial advisor or the financial professional may not have stolen the money, but if you had a financial professional who advised you to open up a crypto account, and if you maintained an account with this person, and if you think they were giving you financial advice to invest in cryptocurrency, you might be able to sue that person for negligence. You may have a very good case against that person under the rules of the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. And those cases are very fact specific. The person you're dealing with actually has to be a registered person, and you could determine if they're a registered person by using FINRA's broker check tool. I'll put a link to that in the description of the video. So those are the four main ways that investors can potentially recover lost or stolen cryptocurrency. I can tell you these areas are very complex. The law is changing literally every day. So if you have a problem and if this has happened to you, what I suggest you do is you should contact an attorney. If you want, you can contact us. You can call me at the 800 number. You can visit ndflaw.com. and submit a question, but don't rely on what you read on the internet. And act quickly. That's the number one tip in this situation. The people who wait, especially the people who wait to track cryptocurrency, usually don't recover.